So in this figure, we're shown two squares, and one of them is inside the other one. And we're told that the area of the larger square is 98, and the area of the smaller square is 72. And don't try to draw too much from the picture, right? These pictures are not generally accurate, but they are useful as you jot down notes. So what this question is asking is for the difference in the perimeter of the two squares in inches. Now, it's helpful to remember some properties of a square, which is that the area of a square equals the side length squared. That's why it's called a square. And the perimeter is equal to all the sides added up. And since all the sides are the same, it's just going to be x plus x plus x plus x, right? That's 4x. So let's use this to figure out the perimeter of the big square and the perimeter of the little square, and then we can figure out the difference in the two perimeters. So the perimeter of the, well, you know what? No. I want to first figure out the side length of the big square. So I'm going to call this x big. Okay, that's the side length of the big square. That's just the square root of 98. So that means the perimeter of the big square is 4 times the square root of 98. And likewise, the perimeter of the little square, if you go through the same logic, is going to be 4 times the square root of 72. And if we want to know the difference between these things, it's going to be, so I'm going to call that delta p, the difference between the perimeters. That's 4 square root 98 minus 4 square root 72. So what's going on here? Because I don't see that answer in my list. What you have to do is remember that when you're dealing with square root signs, you can often simplify those. And square root of 98, let's think about what 98 is, right? 98 divided by some numbers. So that's 2 and 49. Well, if 98 is just 2 times 49, then what I'm really dealing with here is the square root of 2 times 49. I can pull out that 49, okay? And likewise, 72, what's that? That's just 2 times 36. So I can rewrite these things as 4 times 7. I'm going to pull out the 49 from the radical sign, and that's going to come out here. The square root of 49 is 7, so it's 4 times 7 times the square root of 2, minus, likewise, I'm going to pull out a 6 from the square root sign, and that's going to be 4 times 6 times the square root of 2. So now we're going to get practice using radical arithmetic. 4 times 7 is 28, so I have 28 radical 2 minus 24 radical 2. How many radical 2's do I have? Well, 28 of them over here, 24 of them over there. That gives me 4 radical 2's total. So here's my answer. So big concepts. Let's talk about what the big concepts were. You have to know the area and the perimeter of a square. Those are generally useful geometric formulas that you should always know going into a standardized math test. And the other thing that we have to understand how to do is deal with these radical signs right here. That's a useful skill too. So remember, when you are dealing with a big radical like radical 98, you can break that apart into factors and then take the square root of those factors one at a time.